America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
Move. Second.
Moved by Lee, second by Pfeiffer to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Mike Scott, landfill manager, requests to waive the fees for the spring cleanup.
Yeah, lots of phone calls already, but spring's here, so,
Everybody's getting excited.
yep. Spring cleanup, dates April 23rd through May 8th. Nothing special other than the city will not be participating this year, so it'll be landfill only. And the limit of 4 car pickup tires. So,
So moved.
second.
Moved by Weiss, second by Sutton to approve waive the fees for the spring cleanup from April 23rd through May 8th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just some history from last year, 2020. We had 8,537 vehicles come through for the free cleanup. The year before, 4,297. So I don't think we'll see that again this year, but it's possible without city participation in town. And
So how does the city not participating affect, what's the difference if they participate versus
well, if they
not?
participate versus not, I think we don't have the vehicle traffic at the landfill, you know, that we're going to have, similar to last year.
Is that when we dump it at the highway? Is that what
The
their
highway
goal
and
is?
at Jensen. So usually they have those 2 days, Friday and Saturday, that opening weekend. But it'll affect it some. We'll have more of that traffic come to the landfill.
Sure.
But we made it work, so we'll do it again, and hopefully they'll be back with us here next year.
Or smaller individual vehicles.
Yep.
No, it was just crazy, the volume, so you and your staff last year did an amazing job handling it. First day, cleaning up, getting ready, second day, and
Yep.
people were lined up before the sun come up.
It's a lot of work, so
Sounds good.
that's all I've got.
Job well done, keep it up.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. We got just a couple minutes, Jeanette, before our next one. You want to do a couple of yours?
Yes. Approve the last week's minutes, March 28, 2021.
Move.
Second. Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss, to approve the general meeting minutes of March 23rd. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claims for payroll.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Weiss, to approve the claims and payroll. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss, to approve the HR report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. For fair contracts, there's nothing that really requires any action. So the next will be notice to control noxious weeds and pests.
So moved.
Second.
Do we need a motion if there was anything to act on?
We just put it on the agenda so when they come in,
Okay.
it's ready.
We got a motion from Weiss and a second by Spiker. I moved it.
Dennis did it. Dennis moved.
Anybody did first, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Leases.
Move. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Spiker, to send a notice of control noxious weeds and pests. What? Oh, you
did that one. Yeah, Lisa's one.
So we don't have to do the notice to control?
There's no action here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The next will be travel requests.
Okay. I don't think I had on the leases, I don't think I had the approval. All in favor of the leases?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Travel requests.
Move. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Spiker, to approve the travel request.
Oh,
All in-
one question on that. I'm gonna be gone on Tuesday to go out to a JDI conference in Rapids, and I didn't put, travel on there, but if the commission is so inclined to cover the mileage, that would be appreciated.
So yeah, we'll let it go there. Move it.
I didn't see, I forgot to.
Second.
Moved by Spiker, second by Sutton, to approve the travel request, with an addition of Kipley going to Rapid. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No, abstain.
What about?
This request is just for out-of-state travel. In-state travel doesn't need
Oh, okay.
board
Okay.
approval.
Very good.
Okay.
Will our stuff be working
Anything
next
else,
week?
Ted?
I can
That will be
participate.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item, we have the lien release request. And
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Justin Scott. I'm an attorney with Van Kosh and Kramer.
Morning.
Morning. I represent an individual by the name of Ray Nutting. He owns 419 South Dakota Street. He's owned that property since 2012. In 2017, he entered into a contract for deed with a couple of ladies to give them the opportunity to purchase the property. That didn't go so well. So by the fall of 2019, we had started an action to foreclose the contract for deed. The final order on that foreclosure action was entered in January of 2020. And to give you some idea of where things were at, the purchase price on the contract for deed was $114,000. And for these individuals to save the property from the foreclosure, they would have had to have paid about $13,350. So there wasn't a lot of equity built up there. So what I'm asking the commission to do is release your liens. There's county liens with regard to the people who were the purchasers under the contract for deed. It's about 17,000 total between the two of them, about 6 for one, about 11 for the other.
So they were purchasing it jointly?
Yes.
Okay.
Although
Sorry to interrupt.
before the foreclosure action, one of them had kind of taken over the whole thing by kind of a settlement agreement in there. So what I'm asking is for the commission to waive the county lien amount as to my client's property. I mean, you'd still have them against the individuals. The other option for my client, if the county won't waive them, is to go in and reopen the foreclosure action. And I don't think there's any value there for the county. This is a contract for deed foreclosure, so it's not like a mortgage foreclosure where any judgment creditor can come in and kind of buy out the property. Under a contract for deed foreclosure, the only one who really has any rights to do that is the purchaser under the contract for deed. So to that extent, I suppose if you were included in the contract for deed foreclosure, you could have made some kind of side agreement with these individuals to pay off what was necessary and take over their interest. But if you have any questions, I can certainly answer those. But our request is that you would waive those liens as to my client's property.
usually they don't attach a lien to a contract for deed, do they?
When there's a contract for deed, the interest in the property splits into two interests. There's the legal interest, which my client retained, which is title to the property. And then there's equitable interest, which goes to the contract for deed holder, which is basically use of the property, and once they paid off the contract for deed, the right. Under South Dakota case law, a judgment lien does attach to the equitable interest. Now, when the contract for deed gets foreclosed, that equitable interest is gone. So, realistically, is there anything it's attached to at this point? Probably not, but it's still there, creating a cloud on title.
Basically just requires your owner an extra step to get rid of these judgments.
Right.
So he has the
Would
option
you
to be able
agree,
to
Ernest?
dispose of it in a different way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Justin had called and talked to me about this, and that's why I asked him to get on the agenda here. I fully agree with what he's saying and your question.
So it might be different if there was several years into it and there was some equity that was built up in the purchasers, but at this point, there's pretty
Right.
negligible value there.
And there's some question about that too. Contract for deed law has changed over the years. There used to be, when it was foreclosed, there was this balancing of the equities, so if there was value in the property, the purchaser would get to recoup some of that somehow. That's no longer the case. Now it's
You
you
default, you
either
default.
pay it off at the foreclosed contract for deed foreclosure, or you're out and you don't get anything.
Mhm.
So it's unclear to me how a judgment creditor accesses that equity if they can, but it's still theoretically possible, I guess.
If legally that
Yeah.
equity doesn't exist for that
Yeah,
person.
right.
I would entertain a motion to grant the lien request on the contract for deed.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Piker, second by Weiss, to approve the lien request release. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good luck going forward.
Do you, what's it gonna request for paperwork? Is that,
We have to write up a resolution.
okay. I guess that was my next question.
We can take care of that. That's where the stuff needs resolved, so.
Yeah, any information you need from me, just let me know and I'll get it to you.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You know, the agenda this morning, we approved the agenda, but that isn't what I've got.
There was an amended one sent out.
Yeah, but that isn't this one here.
Scotty,
Oh, you know,
That,
morning.
oh, that,
A
oh.
little
that was
breezy
the
out
last-
today,
well, but it says March 30th.
not like yesterday.
I know.
That was ugly. Still is.
Yeah, we had,
It don't
item
happen.
removed.
Still in there.
You know, I haven't even looked this
She didn't want
morning.
to be on that anymore.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what happened.
Catch up on other stuff and.
Yep. Well, Scott.
Morning.
Good day.
Next item, we got Scott Mines with the emergency manager regarding the county burn ban.
Good morning.
Morning.
Today was the day we said that we would reevaluate the current ban.
No.
I'm here to request an extension to that. I visited with the fire chiefs over the weekend, and they were all more than in favor of it. Obviously, you've seen our current weather situation.
Blown in by it.
Yeah. So I'm here to request an extension to leave the burn ban in place. I can tell you that I looked at the weather this morning. The next closest rain looks like about April 7th, somewhere midweek next week. So I'd like...
That's not a big chance.
And that's not a big chance, yeah.
Don't look like much.
So I want to at least, actually, it's a little easier on us if we go a little longer. And the only reason I say that is because this morning or tomorrow we're going to get a bunch of phone calls going, wasn't the ban lifted, wasn't the ban lifted?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking at least till the 13th, if not an extra week yet, just to see. The green was started, but when we get down to 25 at night yet, we're not seeing that green like we had hoped.
Should we go the 20th then, is what you're kind of...
That would be.
I'd move 20th.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Sutton, to extend the burn ban till April 20th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Perfect, thank you. I don't know if you've seen what's going on out west, but they got a pretty dangerous situation going on out there. They got a few of them contained, but,
Several.
and you know, everybody says, well, yeah, well, we got good firemen. Well, we don't have the resources like they do in the hills for the federal and the state and that kind of stuff. It's us.
I tell you
So-
what, if a fire got started, like yesterday afternoon with that wind up in the grass northwest of Richmond Lake.
I'm sitting on pins and needles, folks, because,
We had that one several years ago that went up one side of the gym and down the other.
this isn't a good situation. Like I said, until we can get some green going and, you know, so, anyway. All right, I will get the media releases out for the 20th, thank you, and I'll get that sent out. I'll get out of here.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Good luck.
That takes care of the agenda items. Mr. Jacob, do you have something to add?
Pardon?
Do you have something to add?
I tell you what, I guess I misread the agenda this morning. I actually thought that Don Shepard was coming in. There was going to be a discussion about the dump site down south. So I called Bob last night and had a conversation and suggested to Bob if he wanted to come and sit in on the meeting. So I apologize for not following up, but anyway, so I invited Bob, and I guess, you know, I think we need to keep moving with the purchase of the welding, Larson Welding property, and so
Glad you're here. It's too windy to haul rocks, so.
Sorry?
It's too windy to haul rocks today anyway, so.
But anyway, in the conversation that I had with Bob last night, I know that Dwayne had raised some concern about the railroad car in the back, and Bob said if the worst come to worst, they could hook onto it with a D8 cat and pull it out of there too. But then I also suggested that maybe Myers might be interested in coming with a torch, cutting it up, and hauling it out of there. I guess, you know, I had visited last Tuesday afternoon with Ross and asked him to draft a purchase agreement, and then he called me back maybe on Thursday and was full of questions about the easement and maybe an approach on the northeast corner, and so this is where we're at. So
I visited with Dirk and regarding the approach, and he would just as soon and recommend that we extend the existing approach to the north and make it 50 to 70 feet wide versus putting in another approach.
yeah,
So that's his
You
thought.
set up here, Bob, you had a little trouble hearing what we're talking
yeah,
about.
just add on to the north of the existing approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That we don't have a space between the two approaches for water to sit.
There's plenty of room for bypassing.
Yep. And I'm still in favor of that concept. I just wasn't sure where we were at. I know Rachel voiced a concern or whatever, so.
I think it's a great option. I mean, we just gotta get our ducks in a row and make sure that it's the best. We just gotta close off that other if it's not gonna be an option. Continue exploring it until we know for sure.
I think this is the best option myself, just because of how the close proximity. It'll be literally seamless to just set those dumpsters there and hit the ground running. But
If nobody runs over them.
yeah.
The speed limit on the approach.
So I guess, do we want to wait another week and see
Well,
if
we don't have a purchase agreement or anything anyway, so.
No, but I mean, do we want Ross to draft up a purchase agreement, or?
Well, I think by the time he gets it done, you guys will have the opportunity to meet on that date with the DOT to see if the other one's even an option. So yeah, I continue down this road if Bob's willing, and then we'll cross off the other one if it becomes not an option anyway.
I didn't catch where the approach was gonna go.
Just to widen the approach that's there
Oh,
to the
We'll
north.
extend it to the
there's
north.
3 approaches there already.
Yeah, we'll just make the one bigger so that we don't have two in close, proximity to each other.
It'll allow for that easement and then an area of approach that's for
It'll
the
just
property itself.
Widen it to the north, or?
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
The north approach to the north.
Yep.
right. Yeah.
And I think it lends itself, short term for just moving the dumpsters over there, and then we can work on disposing of the property and stuff. I had occasion to look in the windows. There's that big lathe in there, and there's a huge old drill press and a couple engines and all kinds of stuff in there.
And Bob said too that, even August 1st or September 1st, if it was written in the purchase agreement, he'd find a place for that stuff. So,
Yeah, the motors and transmissions and stuff is what I got. Worry about the lathe and stuff is something Skip couldn't sell, so I
Mhm.
just gave him a little something for it. And
Open the door and put up an auction sign and...
it's so old.
Yeah.
The weight alone on that old stuff that's in there, that lathe and stuff, metal is up pretty high. It might be worth just
Salvage.
salvaging it and be done with it.
And I thought about the same thing. There's been some junk in the railroad car, and just call Myers and have him tear it apart and get rid of it. It's
Yep.
same thought.
Yep.
I have a wife that suggested that more than once.
So now it's your idea.
In your opinion, Bob, that ground on the front of Larson's there, where everybody's been driving over the years for his shop, that probably doesn't need a lot of, that surface should be heavy enough, good enough to hold a truck right there. It's probably not a whole lot different where it's at right now, is it?
Oh, I think it's stable. I don't know what's underneath there. I've never explored it, dug any test holes or anything, but I mean, it's been used for years by Larson, and I don't know what they put in there. I mean,
I don't know where the dumpsters would be, you know, next to the road ditch or
Up
to the
against the
north,
building.
or where you'd think
Mhm.
about putting them, but,
Yeah, it hasn't been design build, but it hasn't been just pasture either. It's
No,
been driven on
no.
and had some fill brought into it.
there's been fill brought in.
It looks pretty stable to me.
Yeah.
And it's got three-phase electricity in the building yet that would have some advantage.
Sure.
Yeah, I think with the totality of the circumstances and Bob's willingness to negotiate on where
But
we're
I
at
think-
with that, that we
yeah.
pursue it and get it
And I
done.
think too, the easement in that, between the two buildings, between the fire station and the welding shop property, that 24 or 30-foot easement shouldn't be, I shouldn't,
I don't have an issue. We all snow back there, so that's why I
Yep.
think
Yeah.
someplace to go with that in the wintertime.
Sure. Makes sense. There's
Yeah, and I like the fact that it gives you access, you know, wherever you're going, up and down the road to property behind, so you're not landlocking.
I thought of putting some
Find it.
commercial, industrial, something along there to make a bumper for
Mhm.
the sail barn in that area.
Because you've done a lot of work on the pad, if you will, behind there on that property.
Yeah, we've tried over time just to do something.
Fill in there, yeah. So,
And I'd have to run this by our attorney too, once, because the land's in trust.
Yep.
get it done.
Okay.
thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming,
Any
stay well.
Any questions, just give me a call.
You bet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Maybe
good
just
day.
have Ross probably call you or
Good
whatever
to see you.
too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do want to, yeah, I talked to him
okay.
Thursday.
Yeah. Good.
So then we're gonna meet on the 8th.
That's still the plan?
Well, I don't know, I guess that's why I
I
brought it
would, I
up.
would encourage you to, just to kind of cross all the Ts before we make the
And that's
decision.
with
I mean, it's a
DOT.
big purchase, it's a big forever purchase, so.
And that's with
Cross
DOT,
it off.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Out at their office?
Yep.
Okay. On the 8th, did we put together a
I've got it
time?
on my calendar, so that's why I
What
was...
time?
11 o'clock.
Okay. Sure I have that in there.
I guess if the state doesn't allow us to have an approach that close to 281, I guess then that's...
That'd be your
Kind of a-
answer.
that'd
They haven't
be-
said that, they just wanted to meet about access, is what they said.
you know, what it would take to put that action into place there would be something we gotta weigh out too, for electricity, creating the approach, how much they're gonna require us to do, so that, I think that's viable. I guess we could probably do that the 8th, and then I think we could probably make a decision on the 13th, probably.
Sounds good.
That way we know where we're at and make the final plan, and everybody's content, those know
Yep.
what we're doing.
Works.
That takes care of everything on the agenda. Is there anything else to come before the commission? Well, we better stall a little bit though.
That'll be a record short meeting.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Pikert, second by Sutton. All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Opposed?